Give them to us.
Thank you.
Good evening. On behalf of the Glenelg Shire Council, I respectfully acknowledge the traditional lands and waters of the Gunditjmara people and their respective cultural heritages. I acknowledge the elders past, present, and here at today's gathering, and through them to all Aboriginal people. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people provide an important contribution to Australia's cultural heritage and identity. We respectfully acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait community living throughout the Glenelg Shire and the contribution that they make to the Glenelg Shire's prosperity and well-being. To those present in the gallery today, by attending the public meeting of the Council, you are consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published. Council meetings may be live streamed and the Chief Executive Officer will enable a copy for recording to the public. Seat of apologies. There are none? Yeah. Councillors, confirmation of the minutes of the October meeting, please. Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll move the recommendation that the minutes of the Council meeting held on the 28th of October 2025 as circulated be confirmed.
Thank you. A seconder, Councillor Noski. Any comments, Councillor McDonald?
No
Straightforward.
Yeah.
The motion has been put by Councillor McDonald and second by Councillor Noski. Those in favour? Carried. Councillors, we'll move on to the record of councillor briefings. Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll move the recommendation that Council receives the record of the councillor briefing held on the 28th of October 2025, the 5th of November 2025, the 11th of November 2025 and the 18th of November 2025.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Jowett. Any comments?
No comments.
No comments, Councillor Jowett? No. The motion has been put by Councillor McDonald and second by Councillor Jowett. Those in favour? Carried. Are there any declarations of conflicts of interest for tonight's meeting, councillors or staff? There is none to be recorded. Councillors, we'll move on to the councillor activity reports. We'll go to the outgoing Deputy Mayor first.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll just focus on a few events that I know other councillors weren't involved in to reduce the repetition. I went to the Committee of Management of the Old Sale Yards out at the Bridgewater Lakes area to chair a meeting so that they could reinstate a committee, a group of really passionate volunteers who want to keep that site as neat and tidy and reduce the weed problem out there, have got back together and we had a meeting so that that initiative could reinstate that group. And I'm delighted to say that there was a millennial amongst the new volunteers.
Excellent.
Another thing I attended was the Portland District Health Strategic Review, an independently facilitated review workshop involving community perspectives on the strategic direction of Portland District Hospital. Interestingly, I was there to represent council, but there was a lot of focus and a lot of encouragement for anyone to present any personal perspectives that they had recently been involved in terms of interactions with the hospital. So it was a very productive session and it allowed us to look at the strategic direction that Portland District Health are headed and to provide feedback on that direction. I'll go down to the U3A afternoon tea. I enjoyed an afternoon tea and Trivial Pursuit session with the Portland U3A group who embraced childhood food treats and treasured childhood toys on the day. I was able to contribute to both those celebrations, but it was very less useful in the many 1950s and 1960s trivia questions, I'm afraid. They're an incredibly productive and active group. It was a really positive, happy vibe, and I would encourage any of our senior citizens to consider being part of that group. It was particularly well supported by the United Way this year, which allowed them to go on several bus trips, which they particularly enjoyed. I'll I'll just do one more, the Portland Arts Centre Emerging Arts Exhibition. It was a really diverse collection of work from our local senior art students producing the exhibition, highlighting the depth of talent and range of influences. And I'd like to thank Agostina. She does an incredible job at PAC with her team, giving those students the opportunity to see their work in such a professional setting. Just one more, perhaps, oh no, there's two more that others weren't at, I think. The Brophy Open House for the Mental Health Month was fabulous to see their new facilities, and it was great to speak to people within the region that are connecting and partnering that facility in terms of offering welfare to our shire. I also had the pleasure of the Customs House 175th celebration of the Border Force still working from the original Customs House location after 175 years here. It's the only one in the country that's still working from its original site. And there were many shared stories of those people's secondment to Portland, and lots of discussion about how they were the sort of they came for often sort of 2 years, 3 years, but there were only two people working there at a time, and they said that they were often the happiest parts of their career. And interestingly, if you have never been there, it's worth a visit to see the leather-bound ledgers, which are still handwritten in Portland, and it's also the only place in the country where the ledgers of the ships coming in and out are still handwritten in these superb leather-bound ledgers. So I don't know where they're going to store them all if they keep up that habit, but anyway, fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Donald. We'll move on to Councillor Angelino.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Yes, another busy month. The United Way Shark Pitch, I think was the first time they actually went back to the location where they actually had a shark pitch with all the people available not online, but actually in the building. They had the old Star Theatre there, and it was a great night. They pledged more than 66,000, it's probably still increasing after that, but the three pitches, and the room was just very happy with all the pitches and the people that were donating and pledging this money, so that was a great night. We actually then had another one, was the Harry Community Hall. We had round one of the community grants presentation, and that was the grants went out to all the different community groups that we help, and the help that gives so much more involvement in these community groups that whether it's a event like the Dogs Portland Kennel Club in Hayward, or the hall up at St Cassidy that gets new air conditioning, it stabilises their group, and it goes on in many more situations that helps these small community groups. Then we went to the men's shed in Hayward. That was last year's shark pitch, and they actually opened their new building, which is with their new storage, and that's another great asset to that building in Hayward. Then myself and Matt went to the South West Council Alliance in Victoria Parliament House, and that was another great event to actually go to Parliament to see the parliamentarians, and also we advocated for different things in this alliance in our community, so it was a great month. So yeah, it was a busy month, but it's great to get out there and share stories with the people that help us in this community. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Angelino. Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, I think the highlight for me was the Green Triangle Timber Industry Awards held over at the barn. The timber industry is extremely important to the Glenelg Shire, and congratulations to Adrian Flower and the committee on a fantastic event. And it is worth noting there was 2 life members awarded on the night, one being Laurie Hine at ABP, and another one being Stephen Van Schaik at BioGrow. So congratulations to those two, and it was a fantastic event.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillor Jowett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The first one I'll bring up is the Community Grants Presentation Night in Hayward. It's always a joy to hear how the grant funding that they receive will be going to help grassroots community groups in our region. I also attended the citizenship ceremony in October. It was quite a moving event to see people from all over the world take their oath to call Australia home. I also went to the launch of the Len Tinker Racing Collection at the Powerhouse Museum. It was fascinating to see the collection from Len's racing days and hear his life story. I went with Councillor Angelino to Melbourne, to Parliament House. It was a valuable opportunity for myself and Councillor Angelino to support the Mayor in promoting the interests of our region and our Shire at Melbourne in Parliament House. And finally, we went to the Upwelling Warnock Gallery at the Julia Street Creative Space. I really enjoyed seeing all the various artworks, and I'd like to thank all involved who put this event on.
Thank you, Councillor Jowett. Councillor Pepper.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I want to just make mention of one thing, and that's I attended at Casterton, the Truckmasters Off-Road Caravan Club, where there was over 100 people there at the opening ceremony, all staying at Island Park, and it was really good to see that the community was getting right behind this organisation that's come to town, and it came at a really good time in the regard that the amount of funds that would have been injected into Casterton, more or less 12 months after the hailstorm would have been phenomenal, and Casterton really had their businesses operated their hours accordingly, so I thought it was a really, really good thing to come to the area, and I just congratulate you and Shane Foster and others to help organise it, and I thought the injection into the community absolutely wonderful. That's all.
Thank you, Councillor Pepper. Yeah, look, I will continue on the Trackmasters. Look, it was a great to have 66 Trackmaster caravans come to Casterton for a whole week, and they use Casterton as their base, as you know, Councillor Pepper, and I haven't received the report back yet and the calculation of how much they left behind, but they're estimating between $60,000 and $70,000 for the week. So, congratulations to all the community groups, the football club, the Kelpies, the netballers, the RSL. Everybody got behind them, and they spread their money around all over town. So that was really good. Yeah, it was good, and they were good, fun people too. Yeah, they were fun. Look, councillors, it's been a huge month in October. We started with the official opening of the ceremonial dance space down on the foreshore, a great project in itself, with the lighting and the pathways to be included in that. Just a couple of things that, I've attended is certainly we did a number of things around the Timber Awards. Councillor Carr were excellent, and they recognised people across the whole of the Green Triangle region, which I think is a fabulous event, and certainly timber is such a big industry within our region. The community grants, as a number of you have spoken about, always great to be able to give those grants to those grassroots community groups. And the Parliament House visit, I'd just like to thank Councillor Jowett and Deputy Mayor and Councillor Angelino for attending Parliament House and seeing firsthand and meeting with politicians and profiling the region. So thank you for that. We certainly, the Australian citizenship ceremony in October was well received by all the recipients, and of course we have a number of other events throughout the month. But look, just my thanks to each of you who take the time to attend these events and represent council and your community so well. So thank you very much. On page 12, there is a motion there, please. Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll move the recommendation that Council notes the council activity reports for the 1st of October to the 31st of October 2025.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Pepper. Any further comments?
No further comments, Madam Mayor.
The motion. Councillor Pepper, any comments? Right. The motion has been put by Councillor McDonald and seconded by Councillor Pepper. Those in favour? Carried. There are no notices of motion this evening. Councillors, we'll move on to management reports. Number 9. 9.1 is a delegates update. Mr Hall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Present for Council the delegations for some of the key documents for powers and authorities to staff and some of the sub-delegations. There's a process we review every 6 months to maintain currency with changing legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Hall. Are there any queries or clarifications being sought on this item, please? If not,
move the motion.
Move the motion on page 16 in its entirety.
In entirety as printed.
Thank you, Councillor Noski. Is there a seconder, please? Councillor
Happy to
Carr.
second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Noski.
I don't think anything more needs to be said. It's largely administrative and
Thank you. Councillor
keeps us
Carr.
up to date.
No comment, Madam
You're
Mayor.
happy? No comments? Thank you, councillors. The motion has been put in its entirety as listed on page 16 by Councillor Noski, second by Councillor Carr. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you. 9.2, councillors, the South West Air Services Strategy. Mr Moyne.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Warrnambool City Council have prepared a Southwest Victoria Air Services Development Strategy to be presented at an upcoming Southwest Victoria Alliance board meeting. Recognising the importance and strategic role and opportunity of the Portland Airport, the report presents a position and feedback for Council to contribute into the strategy and to advocate for the future opportunities with the Portland Airport. The Portland Airport itself is a strategically significant regional asset owned and operated by Council that's a CASA certified aerodrome, and importantly the report touches upon key items including the strategic basis of the strategy, providing some commentary around the analysis undertaken, infrastructure upgrades, identifying the future opportunities for the Portland Airport, and also make some comments around the action planning within the strategy itself. The recommendations provided before you, Madam.
Thank you very much, Mr Moyne. Councillors, any clarification being sought from Mr Moyne or the CEO? Any comments? Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Could I just ask, this is primarily focused on the Warrnambool aerodrome as opposed to our other regional aerodromes in Hamilton and Portland. And would I be right in saying that Portland is the only CASA certified out of those 3 airports, Madam Mayor?
Mr Moyne, would you like to clarify that?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I believe so, Councillor McDonald. I believe the Portland Airport is the only CASA certified aerodrome out in terms of those 3 airport facilities themselves. The strategy, obviously, as presented, does clearly focus on the Warrnambool Airport. The position of Council is to look to elevate the role and future opportunities for the Portland Airport as a CASA certified facility with a high quality runway and other infrastructure at the facility.
Thank you.
I believe the only other CASA certified airport in the southwest is Peterborough.
Right.
It's the only other one, but it's not a major airport.
Just another question. It appears that it's very tourist focused, this strategy, and there just doesn't seem to be any consideration of further west where people really require local transport and transport for construction people and people going out on ships, service boats out to the oil wharfs. I'm just not understanding really why this is so tourist focused when there's other needs in our region.
Yeah, thank you,
Pick that up.
Madam Mayor. Certainly, as outlined within the report, there are shortfalls from a Glenelg Shire perspective in terms of the strategy development, and a lack of involvement that the council officers have had to inform the strategy to ensure that an integrated regional aviation approach is undertaken that doesn't just look at the tourism market for aviation, but considers future needs and demands across the region that might be driven by workforce, industry, future investments, and the different dynamics at play for regional aviation. So there's certainly some gaps, I guess, from a council perspective around the strategy itself.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, there's a recommendation there on page 22.
Happy to move the motion in its entirety.
Thank you, Councillor Noski. Seconder, please. Councillor Jowett. Councillor Noski.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. As Mr Moyne has made clear, and Councillor McDonald's questions have evinced, this is a strategy which the Warrnambool City Council wrote for the Warrnambool Airport's future development, and they're now seeking the Southwest Victorian Alliance of Councils, which is the 5 councils in far southwest Victoria, to endorse it as a regional strategy. And I think it's only appropriate in that case that Glenelg Shire points out that there are other airports in the area, and that if the report is going to be one that goes to Canberra looking for funding for air services in this area, that it takes regard for the fact that there are other airports in the area. So I thank Mr Moyne for bringing this to our attention as councillors, and yourself and the CEO for fighting Glenelg's case in the Alliance.
Thank you, Councillor Noski.
Heartily recommend that councillors vote for the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Jowett, did you want to make some comment?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Firstly, I'd like to thank all the staff for all the work they have put into making our position on this subject clear. That is that we would like the Southwest Alliance, which Glenelg is a member of, to not ignore the importance of the Portland Airport and to include it in any overall strategy which is seeking funding for improvements to the region's airports. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody that wishes to speak against this motion? Is there anybody that wants to make a further comment? No? Fine. I'll put the motion then. The motion as tabled on page 22, moved by Councillor Noski and second by Councillor Jowett. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you, councillors. And we will make sure the CEO and myself will put our opinion forward next Friday to the Southwest Alliance Board meeting. Thank you for making that clear. Councillors, we'll move on to 9.3, which is the Council Policy Review on Council's property leasing and licensing policy. Mr Holt.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Several months ago, when Council was considering a lease, it was identified that the lease policy was not current, and some request for it to be reviewed. That review has now been undertaken, considering other industry policies, updating of some of the key information. Councils have been briefed several times in regards to the content, and the revised policy is now presented for council consideration.
Thank you, Mr Hall. Any clarification being sought, councillors? Any question? If there are none, there's a motion there on page 24, please. Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. I'm happy to move the recommendation that Council 1 adopts Council Property Leasing and Licensing Policy, CPO Corp CP 002 in its entirety, and 2, revokes the Council Property Leasing and Licensing Policy, CPO Assets-Op 002, endorsed by Council on 28th of November 2017.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Is there a seconder, please? Councillor Angelino. Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, plenty of good discussion had in relation by councillors, have been had in relation to the reviewing and amending of this policy, and it's good that we've been able to put the strategic framework around how we lease our assets out to the different groups into one document so that there's clarity for anyone and everyone.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillor Angelino.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. It's also mentioned that this policy has updated and it's gone as we've had a lot of discussion with the councillors, and we've adopted a new policy that will move us forward, and understanding for all the groups and all the council, and thanks to Mr. Hull for actually getting this policy up to the new standard. So it's been good work, and hopefully it will pass it and it'll move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Angelino. Are there any other comments that wish to be made? No, I'll put the motion as tabled on page 24, moved by Councillor Carr and second by Councillor Angelino. Those in favour? Those against? Noted. Have we recorded those? You're up. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. We'll move on. There's no urgent business. And councillors, we've received no questions this month for the council meeting. So we'll move into confidential reports, and that will mean the closure of the meeting. Do we have there's a recommendation. Councillor Carr.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move the recommendation that the council meeting be closed to members of the public.
Thank you. Is there a seconder, please? Councillor Jowett. Moved by Councillor Carr, second by Councillor Jowett. Those in favour? Carried. Thank you.